Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to the 80K Woodswalker channel where we focus on everything having to do with outdoor adventuring. If that interests you, go ahead and subscribe. Today, we're going to talk about all the gear that I brought on my recent winter backpacking trip. I hope you'll stick around. Recently, I posted a video of my very first winter camping trip. The guys and I went out to a remote pond in the backcountry of the Adirondacks, and we just had an amazing time. We cooked and ate like kings. It was just a really good experience. Now, a lot of you have actually reached out to me and asked what kind of gear I brought on that trip. And as a channel who likes to promote getting outside and doing awesome things, I realize that there's a lot of folks out there who may not have gone on a winter backpacking trip before. So I wanted to share what was in my pack for that trip. Okay, before we get into what's in my pack, just a really quick review of the Hilltop Packs Raven UL 40 that I just got. It was amazing. This was the inaugural voyage for this pack, and it performed above and beyond what I could have expected. It's perfect, it fits all my gear, it's super comfortable, wicked ultra lightweight, and just awesome. So that's cool. A full review of the pack will come later on this year when I've had a chance to kind of stretch out its legs. We've got a lot of hiking planned this year, some big backpacking trips, so I'm gonna bring it out, test it out a lot, and give you guys a full review later on this year. But I did want to just say, the pack performed amazingly for that overnight. It was great. All right, now let's talk about the guts. What's inside my pack? We're gonna start on the outside here. We've got some Nalgene's. One Nalgene I keep outside of an insulator just because it's easier for me to grab it and drink on the go. And the other one is in this insulated coolie for keeping things not frozen. So what I do is I put some warm water in here, put it in here, zip this up, and don't open it until I need it. That actually stayed liquid, not frozen, until the morning. It worked out really, really well, and I was very pleased with it. I also have my trekking pole on the outside. I was carrying this most of the trip because it helped give me some leverage when we were pulling the sled, just so I don't slip and die. Also on the outside, right in my mesh pouch here, I always keep my hammock gear Journey 12-foot tarp in the outside, just because sometimes it gets wet, and we have mesh pocket out here, so it's really, really awesome. It can dry it off, things like that. The hammock gear Journey comes in its own stuff sack, but I think it's a little too small. So what I did was I just have another one lying around, and I stuff it in that. It's nice and big. It's perfect for what I need it for. Got a little ditty bag in here. This has got my headlamps in it. It's also got about 50 feet of paracord and my multi-tool. Just to have that on the outside in case I need it for anything, it's right there. And then the other thing out here, stakes for the tarp. Up on top, you can see I have my rain jacket. Now, this is an old Champion breathable rain jacket that I got probably 10 years ago. It works great. It's a fantastic shell, both in the springtime and the fall where the wind is kind of blowing. It's a little chilly. It also is big enough to fit over my puffy, which is really nice. So put that on the top, fold it up. Nice little trick that I saw from Brian on Brian Hikes All Day. You actually roll the jacket and fold it into the hoodie. It's perfect. Nice little pouch for itself. Inside here, I just have a pair of mittens and a hat that the wife made me last year. And I just have those easily accessible in case it gets chilly while I'm walking to camp. One last thing down the outside of the pack that's worth noting is on the back here, there is a little mesh pouch. I don't know if you can see. Right in here is where I keep my sit pad. That does two things. A, it brings my sit pad because I'm not bringing a chair. You chair guys out there know who I'm talking to you. This is perfectly fine. Plus this gives the back of the pack a little more rigidity. This is a frameless pack, so having the sit pad in that little pouch back there gives the pack a little more structure, and it sits really comfortable in the back at that time. So that's everything that's on the outside. Now let's dig in and see what we've got on the inside. Since the bag is so tall, I'm gonna set it on the floor and pull things out so you can see them. One of the things that's in here, the first thing to note, is there is a contractor bag in here. Now, this pack is made out of Dyneema or DCF. It is mostly water resistant, but there's no guarantee. If there's one thing that I know from hiking on the Northville Placid Trail is you've got to do everything you possibly can to prevent any of your gear from getting wet, like your down and your hammock and things like that. So contractor bag, that's where it's at. Everything stuffs inside that and it's good to go. First up, my cook kit. Yes, we were going to be cooking feasts on the fire with the pressure cooker and the rotisserie and the oven and the pie irons, but I always carry my cook kit with me. It has a can of fuel, it's got the stove, it's the pot, my spoon, and I always carry a lighter in here as well. So cook kit's always with me, regardless of where I'm going, how long I'm going, or what my plan is for food. You never know, it's good to have. Straps for my hammock. I do have a new suspension system for my hammock. However, I did not get it installed just yet. So I have a pair of extra straps because my old straps broke. And these ones worked really well for that trip. My puffy. This is an LL Bean 850 downfill puffy jacket. Stuffs into its own little pocket here. Carry that around. Wore that at camp. It was awesome. I was very warm and very happy. And like I said, my rain jacket can go right over the top of that. Fits perfectly and there's no issues. Next up, my food bag. Now, I did carry for this trip 2 days of food that were not going to be eaten from our feasting, because I was trying to see how much food and how much stuff I could fit into the new pack without any issues. And 2 days of food, not even opened, but fits perfectly fine. So that's great. That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner with some snacks. Next up, my hammock. This is a Hammock Gear zippered bug net hammock. It is an 11-foot hammock, and I'll tell you what, I've never had a more comfortable night's sleep in the woods than when I started using this. It's been on every backpacking trip I've had since 2019, I believe, and I don't see ever going back to any other hammocks or sleeping on the ground like a filthy animal. What else we got in here? Let's see. Water filtration, that's my Sawyer squeeze and my CNOC 2-liter bag. Pretty standard stuff. First aid kit. I've also got my fire starter kit in here as well, just in case we were having problems, and some hot hands and hot feet. We were over prepared for this because, again, it was my very first winter camping trip and I had no idea what to expect and I did not want to freeze. So lots of extra stuff in there. Toiletries kit. So I've got TP, hand sanitizer, toothpaste, toothbrush, and a hair because these luscious locks don't look awesome without any care. So got that. And we've got my clothing bag. This clothing bag is a bit more intense than what I would bring on a normal 3-season backpacking trip. And the reason for that is I brought a completely new second set of clothes, and I have my warm wool base layers in here. The thought was, knowing that if you get wet in the wintertime, you could have a really tough time warming up. Brought completely extra set of clothes so that when we got to camp, after sweating for the 2.5 miles to get there, pulling the sleds and whatever else, we could change and be completely warm, dry, and comfortable. So that's what's in there. Normally, I would just bring a pair of sleeping clothes and an extra pair of socks, but this has everything. This is a completely separate second outfit that we had just because I wasn't sure. Again, overpacked a little bit, but it was a great test for this pack. Not too much left in here. Let's see. My pillow. This is a Trekology inflatable pillow. I love it. It works really well. Judge not, whatever, you choose. And the last thing that I've got in here, so these are my quilts for winter camping. They are 0-degree Hammock Gear quilts. I've got an incubator and a burrow. I went with the economy version because I like to save some money, and my experience with the economy versions of the burrow and incubator for the higher temperature stuff that I've got, perfect. It's great. It's fantastic. I just have a really good time with it. So saving money, got the 0-degree versions. Both of them are in that really bright orange color. Now these quilts are very big. They did not fit in my stuff sack that I had previously for my 40 and my 20-degree installations, so I had to get some new ones. So what I ended up going with was 2 Aegis Max medium-sized compression sacks, and they worked great. They both fit in here. You can see how big they are. One of them is my top quilt, one of them is my under quilt, and they will be awesome. Now the cool thing is, these are so huge and they still fit in that pack. When I go through and do the Taconic Crest Trail this year, the Cranberry Lake 50, and all of our other backpacking trips that we've got coming up, I know that all of my gear is going to fit in there because I can fit my 20 and my 40 degree kits in one of these bags. So that's going to be amazing. I'm super, super excited about it. And I'm very happy that the bag can hold all of my stuff and be super comfortable. All right, so with all of the stuff that I brought, the big question is, how much did it weigh? Total weight for everything in my pack was 27 pounds, but that included like almost 4 pounds of camera gear as well. So I would say if you weren't going to record your adventure, you could get away with 22 or 23 pounds worth of gear to get through a winter overnight. And again, remember, I brought 2 days worth of food. Normally food's consumable, but I carried it in, carried it out just for a test. I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and obviously I had a very good time, and I will be doing more winter camping in the future. If you want to know what all of the gear was, I'll link it below. I'll also link my lighter pack sheet so that you can see where all of the heavy weight comes from. I think in my next outing, there's a few things that I'm going to tweak. I might bring some different clothes for switching out and making sure that I can maintain my body temperature and be warm, but also not have to carry a bunch of weight. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy outdoor adventure video, gear chats like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. But most importantly, I hope that I've inspired you to get outside and do something awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.